Good evening, folks. It is Tuesday evening, the Tuesday before Easter, the Tuesday before Good Friday. And this is Pastor Eric coming to you from a forest. As close to a forest as I could get access, because we're on a journey together. I know there are some professional trades that speak of a level of apprenticeship called a journeyman. Well, my fellow journeymen, we are on an apprenticeship as well. You see, Jesus Christ is the master. Jesus Christ is the one that we are emulating, that we copy in life, that we obey. Jesus Christ is the one who has saved us and continues to keep us. So tonight, what I'd like to do is to go through just a few verses that are found in the Gospel of John, chapter 16. The verses come immediately following where Pastor Henry left off last night. And what I'd like to do is to break it into two sections. I'm going to read the first section, kind of discuss what it's about, and then we'll hit the second part. John chapter 16, verse 25 begins this way. I have said these things to you in figures of speech. The hour is coming when I will no longer speak to you in figures of speech, but will tell you plainly about the Father. In that day you will ask in my name, and I do not say to you that I will ask the Father on your behalf, for the Father himself loves you, because you have loved me and have believed that I come from God. I came from the Father and have come into the world, and now I am leaving the world and going to the Father. So what is Jesus talking about here? It's pretty confusing when he's talking in verse 26. I will not say to you that I will ask the Father on your behalf. That seems kind of mean. It kind of like Jesus is saying, hey, I'm not going to pray for you anymore. You're on your own. You know, mother hen is shooing the chickadees out of the nest, and you're left to fend for yourself. No, that's not at all what Jesus is saying. I don't know if you've ever had this problem, but I know my wife, Fran, has experienced it often when dealing with our insurance company or an investment company. And she's trying to help out, and my schedule is busy, and she's making a phone call to check on something. They won't talk to her because she's not the policy holder. She's not the one who they have the relationship with. So instead, she's got to message me, I've got to call them up, and I've got to deal with it directly. It's frustrating. It's kind of a hassle for me, and especially for her, because she can't deal with it directly with the folks that she's needing to talk with. That's kind of, from our perspective, that's kind of the same thing that Jesus is saying in this passage. He's saying, listen, I'm not going to talk in parables. I'm not going to talk in metaphors or in figures of speech anymore. But instead, it's going to be really clear. And the clear thing that I'm saying is, I'm leaving. God the Father sent me here to the world, but I'm about to leave this world and head back to my heavenly home. But lest you get worried, lest you start thinking that you're going to be left all on your own, because I'm not here to talk to the Father, to represent you to the Father. Don't worry about that, because you have direct access. You can go directly to the Father and pray to Him and speak to Him and commune and have a relationship with Him directly. Yes, we go through Jesus. We still go through Jesus. But what Jesus is doing here at this point is He is saying, you don't need me here on earth anymore. He's gone through in the last 2 or 3 chapters, he's been talking about how this advocate, this comforter, is going to be coming and is going to represent Him in His followers. The second part of the passage that I want to read to you, sorry about that. Second part of the passage is going to begin in verse 29 and go through verse 33. And His disciples said, now you're speaking plainly, and now you're not using figurative speech. Now we know that you know all things and do not need anyone to question you. This is why we believe you came from God." Jesus answered them, "Do you now believe? Behold, the hour is coming. Indeed, it has come, when you will be scattered, each to his own home, and will leave me alone. Yet I am not alone, for the Father is with me. I have said these things to you, that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulation, but take heart. I have overcome the world." Jesus has been giving us two phenomenal promises. The first one that we read just a few moments ago is that we have direct access, open door to God. We can go before him and lay before him our needs and our wants, our fears and our worries. But additionally, what Jesus is saying here, he's giving a little bit of a heads up. He's saying, listen, you're going to be scattered. You're going to leave me. In just 2 days' time, you're going to be hightailing it to your own homes, afraid of getting caught, of getting arrested, and getting put on trial with me. He's also referring to times in the future when they will be scattered and they will be spread out, not just across Jerusalem or just across Israel, but across the world. And as they are scattered and as they are by themselves sometime, with no church, no brothers or sisters around them, no one to help them, Jesus promises to them, Jesus promises to us exactly what he experienced. Not loneliness, not being forsaken, but instead the continual presence of God the Father. What a beautiful promise that is. It doesn't matter if I'm physically alone. God never leaves us alone. Even in the midst of tribulation, in the midst of problems, God is with us. I can't think of anything more desperate than two situations that are weighing heavy on my heart. Our brother Jared Skidmore, barely surviving in a burn unit in Augusta. That's a pretty bleak future, if he has any future. It does not look good. And for Ann Harvin, his fiance, who is there constantly by his side and is looking forward to a life of service, a completely different life than what they had planned. That's cause for worry. If anybody were to get anxious, I think they would certainly have the right to do so. When we look at what happened in the news last week in Nashville at Covenant Christian Church, the complete randomness of children in a school being shot along with 3 of their teachers and administrators. This world is messed up. There is a lot of tribulation in this world. But what Jesus promises is that we are not left alone. We can pray, we can have direct access to the Father, but even that, it's not just a message line that's open. We also have God's presence. This is what sustained Jesus this week, this final week before his death. Knowing what lay before him at Calvary, he still endured the alone times in Gethsemane, for he knew he had access and he had the presence of God the Father. That is our hope. That's what we experience as we go through this journey, a journey of becoming conformed to the image of Jesus Christ. That's what we have in this life. We have a hope because we have a promise from God himself. Brothers and sisters, I hope that you are enjoying this walk. I pray that you'll join us on Thursday night at 6:30 for a Maundy Thursday service in which we will observe the Lord's Supper. On Friday night at 6:30 at the church, we'll also be having a Good Friday service. The prayer vigil, open anytime between 6:30 and midnight. It's just a drop-in opportunity for you to come to talk with your Father. And then on Easter morning, Resurrection Day, at 9:30 here at Northeast Press, We hope that you'll join us. We hope that you are taking this journey along with us. May the Lord bless you today.